More than once I've been asked, why Marshalltown? And the reality is, I'm from here. I grew up in and around Marshalltown, but when I left in 2001, I thought I would never be back. In '04, I had a big faith experience where God really grabbed a hold of me, grabbed into my life and said, you know what, I want you to pastor. And as I developed my skills to become a pastor, I met my wife, who was a church planter's kid. And she said, you know what, I'm never going to plant a church. So we started our journey of being a pastor couple, and we were in Mount Pleasant, Iowa for a couple years, and then we moved out to the Great Northwest and pastored for 6 years. Well, a couple things started to shift. When we came back in August of 2013 for my sister's wedding, I was at Arnold's Park on 7th and Lynn, and I felt God with a strong impression say, someone should plant a church here. And of course, he was talking to the guy who said he'd never move back to Marshalltown, and who had the wife who said we would never plant a church. But as we left that day, I looked at my wife, and she looked at me and said, we kind of don't want to leave. This is kind of a weird feeling. But as we traveled back to Yakima, Washington, God started to grow something in us, started to grow this reality. Maybe it was time to come back home. Maybe it was time to plant a church. So in December of 2014, in the middle of the winter, a packed U-Haul and all, we drove across the western side of the country to come back to Marshalltown. And a lot had changed. Instead of being the person who never wanted to come back, we fell in love with Marshalltown because we believe God is up to something really big here. We believe that our diversity and all the things that come together at this point in these 30,000 people is a great way for God to show how big and how bold and how great He is. So we really look forward to, as we launch on October 4th, to see God continually write His story through Restore Church.